Now available for the first time on Google Play, The Man Crisis. Learn why so many men are falling apart in an increasingly gynocentric world in The Man Crisis. Get your copy on Google Play today.
A 28-year-old man went on a shooting rampage after stealing a box truck and crashing it into a home. Now, 28-year-old PhD graduate Nathan Allen went on a shooting rampage after he stole a box truck and then shot and killed two innocent black people. Now, many in law enforcement are seeing this as an isolated incident, but when I take a critical examination of this incident, I see yet another incident that fits the pattern and profile that I talk about in my book, The Man Crisis. And it's clear to me that your Nathan Allen was one of those individuals who was living a double life, because a lot of beta males out here, they do live double lives, and your Nathan Allen was one of those individuals, like many beta males, who was afraid to express his manhood and masculinity and his true feelings, so the only place he felt he could express them was in the secret world. And inside of the secret world, your Nathan Allen was a racist and a white supremacist, and that's where he expressed his feelings about white supremacy. So your Nathan Allen for years was simmering and boiling in anger about racism and white supremacy, and he believed that blacks were inferior, and he was holding all of that anger inside of himself as he was working in college towards his doctorate. And many of the people in his family and his friends allege that they did not know that your Nathan Allen had these racist feelings. Now, I really don't believe that, because you do see little things here and there as related to people being racist, like people like Mr. Superboy has talked about you can pick up on it. But but when a lot of these white folks, they don't really notice these kind of things, or they don't want to notice these things. But this man, again, he was living in the secret world, expressing his racist beliefs, talking about being a white supremacist, writing and sketching swastikas, and he was out here talking about how white people were the apex predators. And it seems like that was a fantasy that your Nathan Allen had about being an apex predator, and I believe that was one of the things that motivated him to participate in this shooting rampage. That, and in addition to his interest in these first-person shooter games where you go out here and shoot at the enemy. So I believe that these things were part of him and his secret world, and I believe that that secret world eventually wound up becoming the thing that wound up leading to him exploding in a rage, because this man had a lot of fear of failure about things in his life, because he had just graduated with a doctorate in physical therapy, I believe, and I believe that this man was not really able to handle the success and went out here and self-destructed, because that's one of the things that beta males do when they go out here and accomplish something major. They find ways to self-destruct, and they find ways to destroy everything that they've accomplished because they don't believe that they deserve it. And that's where his secret world collided with his real world, and because he didn't believe he deserved his success, this white supremacist, he went out here looking to go on a rampage to destroy his own life and his own success, because this guy, again, he had just gotten married, he'd just gotten his degree as a doctorate, and he didn't believe he deserved success, so he wanted to go out here and take the lives of black people because he didn't believe and deserve his own success in his own life. Because that's how screwed up many of these beta male white supremacists are. Many of these beta male white supremacists, they know that they feel inferior about things in themselves, and because they feel inferior, they look for ways to destroy their own success because they fear that they can't compete. And that's what happened in the case of this beta male. He wound up going on this rampage because he just was afraid of going out here into the real world and competing with black men and black women. So he went out on here again, and he went and exploded in this rage where he went on this killing spree, and he wanted to do it in the same way that he saw in many of the video games that he watched. This white supremacist wanted to go out here and go out in a blaze of glory, where he would go out here on a shooting rampage like the first-person shooters in the video games. Unfortunately, in the real world, when you go on a rampage like this, there are police waiting for you. And in the case of the police, they do shoot back, and Nathan Allen, as he shot and killed those two innocent black people on the street, he wound up getting shot by a police sergeant who shot in self-defense. And thankfully, he took out this white supremacist and sent him straight to hell. But sadly, two black people lost their lives due to this beta male and his dysfunctional state of mind, because this beta male, all he was trying to have the secret hatred of black people. Unfortunately, once he started to get success, that hatred of black people was the thing that led to him destroying everything about his life. But that's par for the course with your nice guy beta males like your Nathan Allen. Many of these men, what makes them dangerous is the fact that many of these men, they put on a nice face, they put on a friendly face, and they seem unassuming and non-threatening. But many of these men, because they live in a secret world where they express their true feelings, you never know who they truly are. I mean, unless you've got good instincts and good ability to notice racism, you wouldn't notice this kind of behavior with this kind of beta male, because this kind of beta male, with their secret world, what they do is they hide everything because they want to keep their world smooth. They want no conflicts, no problems, and no obstacles. So they will go out here and put on a friendly face like this man did, as related to his efforts to propose to his now widow, and put on that face of being so sweet and kind. But on the inside, these men are simmering and boiling in rage. These men are filled with anger. These men are just extremely, again, dangerous, because you just never know what they're feeling or what they're thinking. And eventually it takes something that makes them go out here and explode in that rage. And I believe the thing that made this man explode in that rage was he was overwhelmed by having this doctorate degree, being married, and accomplishing all of this stuff. And now that he had all of that success, he probably felt he could go out here and participate in this fantasy that he had, where he was going to go on the shooting rampage like the video game. Unfortunately, this was his undoing, because as he brought his secret feelings and his secret world into the real world, this is what led to his demise. Because again, your beta male does not live in reality like you and I do. No, they live in a rose-colored reality, and inside of that rose-colored reality, many of these beta males, they have these fantasies like this one did about being the white supremacist who goes on a shooting rampage where he kills lots of black people, and then they don't see the reality that there are law enforcement officers out here and there are laws that we have to follow. And when you take out a weapon to take somebody's life, a police officer then has the right to use deadly force and then take your life. So this beta male is another one that fits the pattern and profile I talk about in my book, The Man Crisis. And he also shows the dangers and the delusions many white supremacists have, because many of these white supremacists, they do not, again, live in reality. They live in a rose-colored world where they think blacks are inferior. They live in a rose-colored world where they think that they are these apex predators. They live in a fantasy where they believe they can go out here and participate in this kind of violence. And these types of delusions that these individuals have, they make these types of males a clear and present danger to all, because these kind of individuals, they are living in their own world. They are not mentally ill. They're truly, again, really twisted, and they, again, hide these feelings and these ideas from people. And again, this is what makes these males extremely dangerous. And a lot of people, again, they're going to just see this as an isolated incident of a white supremacist, but this is not just an isolated incident of a white supremacist who was in the closet. This is another incident with another beta male, and it just again shows how this man crisis, how deep it extends, because here we have another male going on another rampage, and many people are not seeing how there are millions of guys out here like this, and millions of guys who have these kinds of ideas and thoughts, and how many of these men are a clear and present danger to everyone in America. Now, if you want to learn more about the dangerous behavior of predatory beta males, like the one I talked about in this video, you can pick up my book, The Man Crisis, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find it on Smashwords, the iBookstore, and Google Play. And if you want to see me talk about more men's issues videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App by clicking the link in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited, The Man Crisis. Learn why so many men are struggling to find their way in an increasingly gynocentric world in The Man Crisis. Get your copy of The Man Crisis in paperback and Kindle Unlimited today.